Log into gyroscopeme.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio Internet Radio Station powered by GMG LLC.
Welcome to episode number 389, 389th episode of the Rashad Mitchell Show, live on Gyroscope Radio. I'm Rashad Mitchell, coming to you live from the mixtape from home. The Rashad Mitchell Show comes on every single Saturday afternoon from 2 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on Gyroscope Radio. Back once again for the final episode in 2024. Gonna end it with a bang, man. It's been a great year of shows. We're gonna end it. This is the last show of 2024, last month of the year, last show of the month of December, last show of this year of 2024. We're end it with a bang. We're gonna start with some sad news. Unfortunately, another legend has passed last week. I started with Ricky Henderson, passed away. Now in the broadcasting world, Greg Gumbel, the one and only Greg Gumbel, he passed away due to cancer. He passed away yesterday, age 78. This man was a giant in the industry, a pioneer breaking barriers, especially as a black man. God, you can't overlook that. He definitely did some things that no black announcer has ever done for us play-by-play. First and foremost, he became the first African-American announcer to call play-by-play of a major sports championship in the United States. That was Super Bowl 35 between the New York Giants and the Baltimore Ravens in 2001. That shows you that this guy was on a different level as a black announcer. Because see, black announcers wasn't getting these kind of gigs. You know what I'm saying? For like doing a Super Bowl or doing the NBA Finals. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. He was the first World Series, Stanley Cup, National Championship game in college. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't happening. So what he did was definitely a pioneering thing to pull that off. Because he's not really regarded as one of the great play-by-play announcers in the history of television or sports. You talk about Pat Summerall, the Joe Bucks, the Jack Bucks. You talk about Jim Nantz. You talk about Dick Enberg, Marv Albert, Mike Breen, Keith Jackson, Vern Lundquist. The list goes on and on. But Greg Gumbel was not going to be mentioned. But it's because he's a black man. Who knows? But he did pretty good, man. He had some pretty good calls. Matter of fact, one of them was Utah versus Houston back in 1997. I remember it very well. When John Stockton hit the game-winning three-point shot to send the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals. That was a great call. He covered the NBA. He covered some big games in the NBA. That was maybe his biggest move. That was for the right to go to the NBA Finals in '97. He called another one when Eddie Johnson hit a three-point shot against Utah when he was with the Houston Rockets at the time, Eddie Johnson. This guy called some amazing calls in his career. But he's very, very underrated as a analyst. As a broadcaster, as a play-by-play guy. You know what I'm saying? As a play-by-play guy, he's very underrated. Now, he did a lot of great things. He was a great studio host, obviously, for college basketball, NCAA tournament. He was the dean of that. He was the man that led the charge with that. Was going over the NCAA tournament selection show. One shining moment. He was always there at the Final Four for all the years at CBS for most of them. He was the main guy. He was the man that you listen to. America tuned into him as a black man. because that's something that you never saw before. You didn't see that. Now his brother, Bryant Gumbel, he did cover the college basketball. He did cover the NCAA championship between back in 1979, 45 years ago, between Michigan State Spartans and Indiana State, I think the Sycamores, and he was able to cover that game, do the pregame. He didn't do the game actually, as far as play-by-play. Dick Hemberg, Billy Packer, and Al McGuire did that game, but he did a lot of studio shows. I think he did cover the NFL. Did that. So he broke new ground, obviously doing stuff with the Today Show, Brian Gumbel. So Brian Gumbel was a pioneer. So this is a devastating loss. To see a guy like that, Greg Gumbel pass away, man, because what he did for black announcers, like, we aspire to be like him, to be in his shoes. I'm saying to be versatile, to do studio hosting shows like the NFL today. Again, the college basketball aspect of things, Selection Sunday, all that stuff, college football, he did that. He was doing his thing with that. I'm saying, so he was able to touch everything that he was doing, turn the goal, everything he did was personal. He did it all. But I think he's very underrated as a play-by-play analyst. I mean, play-by-play announcer. Excuse me. As a play-by-play announcer, he's very underrated. He's not up there. Because when CBS got the package back from what they had in '93, because remember, '93, CBS didn't have the NFL no more at that time. It was absent. So because it went to Fox, when Fox got the NFC package and to cover the NFC teams and the games and stuff like that. So you had that from 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. Not 97. So 98 comes around, CBS comes back and becomes part of the NFL, which they have been doing ever since. But the number one announcing team was featured, and that was Greg Gumbel and Phil Simms. Before Jim Nantz and Simms was doing games together as an announcing team, it was Gumbel and Simms, 1998 and 2003. And also he did 2 Super Bowls. The second Super Bowl that he did was one of the greatest Super Bowls ever, the Patriots and the Panthers. So he was part of that dynastic run that the Patriots was on at that time, in 2001, 2003. Then he was no longer the number one announcer. I think Jim Nantz came in and he and Simms was doing the games together. We gotta research that, but in 1998, 2003, it was Gumbel and Simms. They were the number one announcing team. Think about how significant that is. That's significant because you didn't see that prior to that. Well, as a black man doing games for the number one announcing team. Because when you part of the number one announcing team, that means you're doing the biggest games. Every week you're doing the best game on the schedule. That's the best gig of all, to do the best games. Also, he did baseball. He did college baseball. Greg Gumbel. So this guy was versatile as a play-by-play announcer, but he's very underrated. Yeah, so he was able to break new ground as a black man doing play-by-play announcing for the number one announcing team with Phil Simms. You know what I'm saying? That was groundbreaking. Pioneering thing. Because before that, black men was not doing these kind of games. It was always the white man that was doing it. Not against the white man. They did what they did to qualify. The talent pool, whatever it is. But to see Greg Gumbel do Super Bowls, did a couple Super Bowls. Did a lot, man. Did a lot for NBC. Did a lot. NBA, NFL. He was part of it. He was part of the coverage of the Super Bowls and all that stuff that was on NBC. He was part of that. So he was very versatile in what he brought to the table. So rest in peace to Greg Gumbel. I didn't want to start the show on that note. I did that last week with Ricky Henderson, but again, I had to start the show with Greg Gumbel because I grew up watching this guy personally. I remember him with the college basketball, NCAA tournament selection show, one shining moment. He was always there. He was always on my television set. And then when you did the college basketball, not just that, the NFL, stuff like that, it's like, wow, He was always part of Americana. He was always there. Commonplace thing on television, sports television. But he's underrated, man. He's underrated when we talk about, the best play-by-play guys. I don't think he gets considered. The guy did part of no one else's team from 1998 to 2003. That's a long time. When CBS brought back the package to cover the NFL, he wasn't a studio host. He did do a pregame show for the NFL Today. He did do that with Terry Bradshaw. But he worked his way up, and he got a lot of opportunities because of the work that he did. I don't think he was just a token guy, but I think he earned his right to be part of no one else's team. But that was something that was a pioneering thing, because black men was not doing, play-by-play announcing for the no one announcing team. You look at it currently now, you don't see that in the National Football League. You don't see black men doing no one games. You don't see that. You got Joe Buck, he does with Troy Aikman. Obviously for Monday Night Football, he's doing his thing obviously with him. And for Fox, rightfully so, they deserve it. But no black man hasn't done that since. And then we look at the NBC. Now you got Mike Tirico. Yes, Mike Tirico. He's doing his thing. He's done Super Bowls. So I can't overlook him. I've got Mike Tirico. He's a black guy. He has done Super Bowls. He's done big games. He's covered, a lot of his Sunday Night Football package. He has covered Super Bowls. They did the recent Super Bowl against the Rams and the Bengals. So he's like the second black man to do a Super Bowl as a announcer, play-by-play announcer. So it shows that black men not only can play the game, but they can talk it, announce it, articulate at a very high level. And that's what Greg Gumbel did. And that's what Mike Tirico has done. So I can't get Mike Tirico. Mike Tirico has done a Super Bowl. I know he did more than one Super Bowl, Mike, so I gotta look it up. But what Greg Gumbel did displays that trail for Mike Tirico to do a Super Bowl for a major network. You know what I'm saying? That's huge, man. That's something that not to sneeze at or take for granted, because black men wasn't given that opportunity to be on that level, to do play-by-play for a Super Bowl or championship games, stuff like that. That was unheard of. That was always reserved for the Pat Summeralls of the world, Jim Nance's, Joe Buck, guys like that, Dick Enberg. They was only reserved for them. Not to be prejudiced, nothing like that, but saying black announcers was not given those opportunities. There were black announcers, I'm quite sure, before Greg Gumbel that was doing football, I'm quite sure. Gotta do the research on that, but at the same time, man, it was like unheard of to see a black man do a game as a part of a number one announcing team. Gus Johnson, he does his thing with Fox, with Joe Clapp. The college football, he's the number one guy for Fox. He was never number one guy in college basketball. He did college basketball at CBS. He was never number one guy. He did some great things. He's never called a Final Four. It was always Jim Nance, Billy Packer. Now it's Iron Eagle. So we're still a long way to go for us, like blacks having opportunities to do major events. And that's what Greg Gumbel did. He did a lot. He broke down barriers, man. He did something that was groundbreaking that you never thought you would see. Now Mike Tirico's doing big games and covering games for the Sunday Night Football package. That's number one right there. Him and Chris Conley. And he did a Super Bowl included. So you see some progress. Greg Gumbel was definitely unique the way he did. But he's underrated. Very underrated as a play-by-play announcer. So he passed away yesterday at age 78 of cancer. He'd be missed, man. He'd be missed. Like when you watch the NCAA tournament, you notice that he's not there to talk about the NCAA tournament selection, who's going to be playing towards the field of teams, it's going to be a void there. You know what I'm saying? Clark Kellogg, King Smith, Charles Barkley, they're not going to be able to sit alongside him on that platform, that panel. So that's the thing about that stands out with that. So when we talk about all-time greats, he is great. I think he's underrated though. So I want to start the show talking about the one and only Greg Gumbel, and the things that he did. He passed away, breaking new barriers. Did so many things, and he was very versatile. He wasn't limited to just one thing. He did a lot of different sports. Also, he did radio for WFAN. That was a sports talk station that got started like in the 80s. He was there, part of that, MSG, ESPN. He anchored the show Sports Center. Did play-by-play games for NBA games. He was on ESPN. So this guy was a pioneer. Yeah, they can't forget about that. Before he came to CBS, before he came to other networks, he was on ESPN doing his thing. MSG, he did in New York Yankees games for MSG. He did the post game and the pre-game. So he did a lot of stuff. Yeah, he was an NFL announcer in 1988. He announced games for college basketball. Obviously, he's known for doing the tournament selection show, stuff like that. He's known for that. He covered baseball, Major League Baseball, did coverage for that. College football, also he did coverage of the Daytona 500, auto racing, Pepsi 400, did that. Not only that, he did play-by-play for the NBA, the Quinn Buckner, and he did Major League Baseball. He did the 1993 American League Championship Series. He did play-by-play for that with Jim Cobb. He was a play-by-play announcer for that. So Greg Gumbel was doing his thing. Also, he covered the Winter Olympics as well. So this guy was versatile. I mean, he's a classic example of a versatile guy. Versatile. Mostly did a play-by-play for the National League Division Series. So he did a lot of stuff, man, Greg Gumbel. Did stuff with Joe Morgan, did everything, man. Summer Olympics, figure skating. This guy was versatile. He was leading us for the NBA, NFL, and CBS. 1998, 2003, did 2 Super Bowls. In 2004, Jim Nantz took over as lead announcer, and Gumbel became the host of NFL Today. He's replaced by James Brown. He's going to return to the broadcast booth as number 2 play-by-play man with Dan Diddle. Just trading places with people. So, I mean, what an outstanding legacy. Because he's one of those few sports announcers to work on pre-game, play-by-play, radio Super Bowl broadcast team. He's one of the few. I mean, he hosted a lot, man. He did a lot, man. A lot of work. So rest in peace to the one and only Greg Gumbel. So I want to start the show on that. Sad note, but I had to talk about it, man. Because he's part of my, growing up, watching, sports, watching whatever it is, as a kid, teenager, or as a youngin'. I mean, that's who you saw. You saw him. You saw him. You saw him. This guy was a central part of television coverage of sports. As a pregame host, play-by-play guy, announcer, this guy was the man. But I think he's underrated as a play-by-play. This week, I think he's underrated. Alright, so that's the story on that. start the show. Right, let's get into obviously some college football playoff. Clemson Texas game last week. They lost 38-24 Clemson. Now that was a game that was pretty competitive for a while. It's just that it didn't become competitive as it should have been because of that running game of Texas. Texas just ran the ball extremely well. They ran for 292 yards. Jaden Blue had a 38-yard touchdown run, 77-yard touchdown run. Just ran for 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. That running game was just tough to stop for Clemson's defense. But give Clemson credit. They got out to a great start, 7-0. But they just couldn't stop this offense. And Texas was up 20-10, 31-10. But give credit to Clemson. They did compete. They did cut the lead to 7, 31-24, but it just didn't last. They gave up a long run on the next possession. So from that standpoint, Texas just had much to handle for Clemson. But every other game last week in the first round of the college football playoff was terrible. When you talk about SMU and Penn State, that game was terrible. The game was over at halftime. You know, they were down 28-0. That's the ball game right there. 28-0 in the first half. 2 pick sixes. And then you give up 2 touchdown runs to Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton, respectively. That's the game. This game was not in doubt for Penn State losing that game. They was going to win. Obviously, Indiana lost to Notre Dame. That was not a great game. So none of these games was great. Then you got Ohio State versus Tennessee, 42-17. Obviously, Ohio State definitely put that loss behind them. To Michigan, rightly so. They're going to have the last laugh. They keep playing like they're playing. They're going to win that championship. So it's not going to be about, oh, they lost to Michigan. They won that championship. That's all that matters if you're an Ohio State fan. It's about, trying to get Ryan Day fired and all sorts of stuff, but want him out. No. Nonsense. Ohio State played great. They gained 473 yards. That was the most surrendered by the Tennessee defense. Maybe the temperature had something to do with it also. The game time temperature was 25 degrees, dropping the first college football game played in December in 102-year history of Ohio State. So that was something that's unprecedented. But when you look at this Ohio State team, they was clicking on all cylinders. Quarterback Will Howard had 2 touchdown passes to Jeremiah Smith. They were in great rhythm. True freshman Jeremiah Smith, and Sean Junkins and Trevion Henderson scored 2 touchdowns apiece. But it's all about the dominance of Ohio State, both sides of the ball. And this is what Ohio State can do. If they play like this, they can beat anybody in college football. 311 yards, passing for Will Howard, 24-29, 2 touchdowns. They threw an interception, but Jeremiah Smith had 6 catches, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's unstoppable. So that game was non-competitive. So that's the thing you look at last week's games, that it was non-competitive. They were down 35-10, 42-10. The game was not competitive, man. The game was terrible. All these games, except for Clemson and Texas, pretty competitive for a while. But all these games were just a dud. So moving forward, let's look into the quarterfinals. You got on New Year's Eve, Boise State will play Penn State. Penn State is a 11-point favorite in Fiesta Bowl. These games are going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be very competitive. I think they're going to be in the blowouts, hopefully, if you're a casual fan. Notre Dame versus Georgia. That's going to be a good game. That's going to be played on New Year's Day, 8:45 p.m. 2-point favorite is Georgia. Oregon, Ohio State, that's the rematch, or the matchup that they had back in October 12th. So these two teams are familiar with each other. They play in the same conference, obviously, with much realignment, the Big Ten perspective. So they're going to be playing each other again. That matchup that they had back in October 12th, they lost. Ohio State 32-31. So these two teams are familiar with each other. They're not no strangers. They lost to the Ducks of Oregon 32-31 on October 12th. So this is a rematch. So this is going to be a good game. Ohio State could definitely win it. No question. I don't think Oregon is that great. And also, Ohio State is 2.5-point favorites in this matchup. And then you have Arizona State and Texas. Texas is a big favorite, 13 points against Arizona State. So that's going to be in the Peach Bowl, Texas versus Arizona State. That's in the Peach Bowl, New Year's Day. New Year's Day, Rose Bowl, Oregon, Ohio State, 2.5-point favorite is Ohio State. Penn State favored by 11 points against Boise State. They're going to play on New Year's Eve. So you got 3 games on New Year's Day, or the playoff quarterfinals are concerned. Arizona State and Texas, New Year's Day, 1 o'clock. Rose Bowl, Ohio State versus Oregon at 5 o'clock, New Year's Day. Then the last game of the night, should be last game of the night, Sugar Bowl between Notre Dame and Georgia. The game before that, Fiesta Bowl, is going to be New Year's Eve at 7:30. So get ready, man. It's going to be great football. I think the game is going to be much more competitive, much more compelling. Hopefully it is. So that's the storyline on that. Now, as far as my picks, I'm make my pick for it. I think Texas will beat Arizona State. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Arizona State will compete. But I think Texas will win by at least 7 to 10 points. I think Texas is a better team. They got more talented. So I'm going with Texas to win this game. Ohio State and Oregon, man. I got to go with Ohio State. I think they're a team on a mission. Ohio State lost to Michigan and all that other stuff. But I think they got extra incentive, man. When you lose to Michigan and still win that championship, they can do it. That's sweet revenge. That's sweet. Not a revenge sense, but it's a sweet justice, sweet poetic justice, because now you have a championship. Despite losing to Michigan, despite all that, you still won that championship. I got Ohio State playing Texas. Ohio State is capable of winning it all. So I think Ohio State and Texas. I think that should be the matchup in the semifinals. Should be. Then I got Penn State, Boise State. This is an interesting game. Obviously, Boise State has that running back, Ashton Jeanty. I gotta go with Penn State. Penn State gonna win. And the Notre Dame Georgia game, this is gonna be a fascinating game because Georgia, they're not gonna have services of Carson Beck, who actually declared for the NFL draft. He's out because he had some surgery. But he's going to the draft next year. He had underwent surgery this week. Apparently, the owner of collateral ligament in his right elbow. So he will not be playing. So Gunnar Stockton will be starting against Notre Dame. Notre Dame got a chance, man. They got a strong running game. They run the ball extremely well. But I just think Georgia will find a way to get it done. So I got Georgia against Penn State. One shot and Notre Dame wins. I think Georgia will put out a win. The athleticism, the defense, find a way to stop Notre Dame's boots at the rushing attack. I like University of Georgia to play Penn State next week. That'll be in the Orange Bowl. And I think Texas and Ohio State will play in the Cotton Bowl. Alright, so that's storyline on that. So that's it for that. Alright, let's get some sports headlines. One of them is obviously Carson Beck. He's going to the draft. Right, we got Eli Manning and Antonio Gates are among Hall of Fame finalists. They were the finalists in the Hall of Fame. Terrell Suggs, Luke Kuechly, Eli Manning, tight end Antonio Gates are among the finalists for the 2025 Pro Football Hall of Fame. It was announced. The names were announced today. 15 modern era finalists will advance from a group of 25 to the final stage of voting. So the group includes 5 players in their first year of eligibility, 9 who were finalists last year. Wide receiver Steve Smith Sr. made it this far for the first time in his first year of eligibility. So the selection committee will vote next month to pick the class of 3 to 5 modern era players that will be announced the week of the Super Bowl. 5 others who are under consideration for enshrinement is Sterling Sharp, Maxie Bowen, Bohan, Tim Tyra, Mike Holmgren, Ralph Hay. Also, alongside Manning, Kuechly, and Suggs, their first year of eligibility of finalists, along with postseason kicking star Adam Vinatieri, former Baltimore Ravens guard Marshall Yanda, Antonio Gates, including Jared Allen, defensive end, wide receivers Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne, offensive lineman Willie Anderson, Jared Evans, offensive lineman, defensive backs Darren Smith, Eric Allen, Rodney Harrison, Fred Taylor. So you'll see, they're the finalists. Interesting to see what happens. Eli Manning was known for what he did mostly in the postseason and what he did in the regular season. So he never was an all-pro player. Never was on an all-pro team. Never led the league in any statistical category. He did throw for 366 touchdowns, but his best moves were in the postseason. So that might give him a nod to get in. We'll see. Unless he pull off that upset against the Patriots in 2007. So stuff like that. So Terrell Suggs, one of the top pass rushers, rightfully so. We'll see if he gets in. Gates, I think he should get in. I definitely been in the Vinatieri. He was always clutch with the game-winning field goals. They talk about Tom Brady and all that, but the guy that made the differences was making the field goals was in the Vinatieri. There would be the snow game against the Raiders. That was the tough rule. Kick, field goals to win Super Bowls, stuff like that. First 2 Super Bowl titles when they beat the Rams and the Patriots. We made the field goals to win the Super Bowls, those 2 Super Bowls. So I'm interested to see who's going to make it, but that's the class. It's going to be for the finalists of the Hall of Fame. Luka Doncic's house was burglarized Friday night. Somebody broke into his house. Onto what I see right here. This is something that's been going on a lot. A lot of these athletes having their houses burglarized. There would be Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow's house was broken into, Bobby Portis, Mike Conley. So these athletes are dealing with these burglaries that's going on. People breaking into their houses. So Maverick star Luka Doncic's home was burglarized last night. So that's something that's been going on lately with countless athletes. Like I said, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Bobby Portis of Milwaukee Bucks, Mike Conley, Timberwolves guard, I was being burglarized. But again, that's the price of fame. I'm saying when you're famous, you got a big name, you're gonna be a target for people. For better or for worse, people gonna know what you're doing. So now what happens is they see you as a target, they're gonna break into your house to try to take what you have because you're a famous person. That's all it is to me. It's just the price of fame. Being famous, being a big name, being a public figure. Because you're not a public figure, now that doesn't mean that any house can be burglarized. Yes, any house can be burglarized, but when you are a public figure and people know your name, your stature, your status, you're going to try to break into what you have. And I think that's the thing that athletes got to deal with, celebrities got to deal with, is the fame that they got can draw people to them, better for worse. They want to break into your house, take stuff like that. So that's not a good look for that. All right. I think that's basically it. Right now, we got a lot of football going on right now. UConn beat North Carolina in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. TCU is beating Louisiana right now in the first quarter, 7-0. Nebraska is beating Boston College. At the end of the third quarter, about to go into the fourth quarter, Nebraska leads 20-2 in the Pinstripe Bowl. New Mexico Bowl, that's leader, New Mexico Bowl, TCU leads Louisiana 7-0. And then the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, Nebraska leads Boston College 20-2. Also, we got some NFL games right now. I'm not surprised by these results. The Chargers trying to get into the playoffs. Chargers lead the Patriots 20-7. This game is in Foxborough and Gillette Stadium. So, yeah, right now, the Chargers trying to reach the playoff spot. Justin Herbert's playing well. He got 2 touchdown passes, 190 yards passing. So they are 20-7. No surprise there with the Chargers winning. You got other 2 games on today also. You got Denver versus Cincinnati. And you got the nightcapper, the Rams and the Cardinals tonight. So they got a triple header in the NFL. Right, so that's it, man, for the first half of the show. Talked about the passing of Greg Gumbel, looked over his career as a broadcaster, things that he did. Trailblazer, man, what he did. Greg Gumbel. Definitely epitomized that in itself, in terms of what he did. So I wanted to talk about that, talk about what's going on in the world of sports, as far as sports headlines. I got into that. I got into a lot of stuff. I covered the college football aspect of things with the playoff. Everything's all set for the matchups for the quarterfinals. Talk about that. Sports headlines and stuff like that. I had to begin with, passing of Greg Gumbel, one of all-time greats. Underrated as a play-by-play guy. I always say, people know he's great as a studio guy. For his play-by-play acumen, I don't think he get enough credit. This is me. I just think when you do the number one announcing team type of games, be part of the number one announcing crew, like he did with Phil Simms all those years, doing 2 Super Bowls. I mean, you don't get enough credit. I don't know. Just me. So I'm gonna take my 4 music break songs and come back with more for the Rashad with the show. Get into UFC fights, see who's fighting, and also get into the NBA. Definitely talk about the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers matchup. That was a big time game. That was a big time game for Philly. Philly's playing good with basketball, and interesting to see how they continue to play. You had Jones B on the court, Tyrese Maxey on the court, and Paul George on the court, and just to see that game on Christmas and how they coexisted together. They were able to win in Boston. I want to talk about that as well. So that's what we're going to get into real soon after the 4 music break songs and close out the show. So that's basically it for that. So that's it for the first half of the show, last show of 2024. I'm going to take my music break songs and come back with more of the show. Keep moving. Wait a minute, I'm gonna make a correction. Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth did the Super Bowl between the Bengals and the Rams. So I was wrong. I think I said that Mike Tirico did that Super Bowl. No, it was Al Michaels did the Super Bowl. So my apologies for that. That's why I'm looking it over. So I don't think Mike Tirico ever done a Super Bowl before. I don't think he's ever done one. I think he's do one probably not this year, but the next year. Next year, you probably do the Super Bowl. Not this year. This year, the Super Bowl is on Fox. Next year, I think the Super Bowl is going to be in Santa Clara on NBC. So, Mike Tirico will do his first Super Bowl ever. He'd be the second black play-by-play announcer to do a Super Bowl in history. It would be his first Super Bowl coverage. There was no play-by-play announcer. That's my bad. I thought, what's his name did it with Super Bowl, Mike Tirico. No, it was Al Michaels. He did his Super Bowl. That may have been his last Super Bowl they ever did, Al Michaels. So, Mike Tirico will do a Super Bowl. That'll be next year. Because the Super Bowl next year will be in Santa Clara, California. That's where the 49ers play at February 8th, 2026. That's going to be on NBC. NBC will have the coverage. So that means that Mike Tirico will do the Super Bowl. Mike Tirico. He'll be doing the Super Bowl next year. So he'd be the first, his first Super Bowl will also he'd be the second black play-by-play announcer after Greg Gumbel to do the Super Bowl. So make correction, Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth did that Super Bowl between the Rams and Bengals. Not Mike Tirico. No, Mike Tirico was not on that broadcast. He will be next year. The Super Bowl. I think it'd be Super Bowl 60. Maybe Super Bowl 60 be next year. Because this year is what, Super Bowl 59? I believe Super Bowl 59. So check that before I take my break. Super Bowl 59. Yeah, Super Bowl 59. So next year will be Super Bowl 60. So Super Bowl will turn 60 next year. 60 years of the Super Bowl. For a Super Bowl of December. So that's it, man. Take my full music break songs, come back more. It was Rashad with the show, get into, like I said, UFC fights, UFC fighting today, NBA, and I'll see NFL. The season come down to a close. And close out the show. This is the Rashad with the show every single Saturday afternoon from 2 o'clock p.m. and 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on Josh Scope Radio. Be right back.
All night long, the chime, be a part of your mind. Let the rhyme intertwine like a vine. Work your mentally found intellect. I raise eyes like the sight of a tech. Let's take a trip inside of my thoughts while I persevere on the mic like sports. Take me in stride, OC's worth listening. Watch the tricks of a hoe who's a vixen. Tender eyes that only leading to a hard on. Touching tongue state, two to be a part on. I'm ax relax, smooth it out like a sax. One of my goals is to make fast stacks. Then I flip the money to establish a business. This here beat, you see I already quizzed it. I gave it a test for the rhyme linguistics. Honey wanna kiss, gotta remove the lipstick. I dig lips with natural juices, soft and lickable, not rough and ruthless. Because of many people I've been denied. Gas in my tank taking me for a ride. But I'm alright now, smooth as the turnpike. Cause of my squad organized and searchlight. Meditate daily I do, so I sort things I consider in my mind as deep thought. Ride the wave, do me a favor. Give it a chance if a nigga has flavor. Years have passed, now training is over. Of being intoxicated, now I'm kinda sober. Verses serve a purpose like workers. Yet there's clowns making hip-hop a circus. Me, I'm an architect, mark my sweat. Brain of an engine, better yet a Corvette. Thoughts are surging like a submergent. Some subjects never been touched like a virgin. Urging MCs, beware my rap. I'm destroying all things that go through my path. It doesn't matter the sex type, old to see now. Niggas getting done by the potent and freestyle. Rhythms are constantly switching and changing. Nameless OC, I wrote and arranged this. Fluctuation, I added like seasoning before I was missed. Now I'm more than a breezing, poetically astounding. Drowned the sounding, my brain responds to a beat, booming and bouncing. 808s kicking with the kicks inside it. You must coincide and not sound divided. Crushing competition, dusting oppositions. Down the toilet gonna flush your composition. Your scribes are weak, therefore can't speak for self against the man. With a true mystique I got. So many ways to flip phrases, flip those. Passing licks over the head of my foes. Fits I'm giving them, it's a living. If I don't wanna take a ride with you, then I can't be driven. Bound for town with a raw sound, seeming to be lacking luster from a lot of MCs. Skits get done by the misfit, doing gimmicky shit, following the leader from a trend hit. OC got it going sewn like a sweater. Better believe it that I get it busy to the letter. Pure and thick, there's no premature ejaculating. And if you had a girl, you wouldn't be masturbating. Masquerading your personification as a lyrical lord when you're just not fascinating. Nigga, you need to stop flexing, stop vexing what you're not be sure about what you got.
Welcome back to the Rashad Show, live on Josh Scope Radio. The last show of 2024. It's getting to it looks like there's not gonna be anything as far as UFC fighting schedule, so no fights tonight. So I don't think there's gonna be anything going on. Nothing going on today. As far as maybe because of the holidays, but I don't see anything that warrants a UFC fighting schedule. Because the past results is back on December 14th, so there's nothing going on. So I'm gonna just move on to the NBA. So this is the last show of the year, man, 2024. If you enjoyed the first half of the show, what I talked about. This is a 389th episode of the Rashad with the Show, 389th episode number 389. So let's get into some NBA. I'm gonna go back to Christmas, man. Christmas Day. The game that I really watched was the Boston Philadelphia matchup, because that was so important for me to watch, because you had the three guys that gonna be big for the 76ers to win a championship against the postseason, make some noise, is when they had Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey on the same court. And I was able to watch that game. Give credit to Philadelphia. That was a big win. Going into Boston, winning 118 and 114. That was a huge win for them, for their morale. They've been playing well. They're 11-17 right now. They're playing good basketball. Tyrese Maxey had 33 points, 12 assists. Embiid had 27 points and 9 rebounds. George didn't shoot the ball particularly well, 4 for 15, 0 for 7 for 3. But the guy that stepped up in the starting lineup was Caleb Martin. He stepped up. He had 23 points, 7 of 9 from 3-point range, and 8 of 11 from the field. So the 3-point shot was definitely on point. They made 17 threes out of 40 attempts. Obviously, the Celtics, they known for shooting threes a lot. They shot 49 threes, made 20 of them, but they still lost the game. Tatum had 32 points and 15 rebounds. Played very well. Derek White had 21 points. Jaylen Brown had 23 points. But the thing is that this is a big win for the Philadelphia 76ers, man. When they have all 3 guys in that lineup, including Martin, they playing like that, they could win in that NBA championship. They could win the Eastern Conference. You know what I'm saying? The way they play like that on Wednesday, they can be dangerous. Very dangerous. This is what it's about. These guys stay healthy. Now tonight, Sixers play. Tonight they play Utah. They part of a 6-game road trip. So they just get these wins they can. That should be a win game. Utah's not that good. They're 7-22. One of the worst teams in the league. So you expect Philadelphia to win that game, to go 12-17. When they play Portland, who's 10-20. So they should be able to win those 2 games and go 13-17. You know what I'm saying? They won. They left the 7 of the last 10 games. They're playing excellent basketball. So it shows you that when you have your guys healthy and whole, you got a chance to do big things. And there's a lot of expectation for the 76ers. So that's the thing that stood out for me more than anything on Christmas Day, other than other games with that game. So that's the story on that I enjoyed as far as that is concerned. Obviously, Luka Doncic, he had his home burglarized, unfortunately, last night. Fortunately, so these athletes dealing with these break-ins, like I said, Joe Burrow, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, the NBA world, Bobby Portis had his home broken into, Mike Conley of the Timberwolves. So it's just crazy. These these athletes getting their houses broken into. But again, it's the price of fame. Again, I think it's the price of fame, the price of being a public figure. People know who you are. People see you on TV. They want a piece of you, for better or for worse. And I think that's what's going on. Maybe that's the motive behind all these break-ins. These athletes having their house broken into. Also, in NBA news, Mike Brown got fired for the Sacramento Kings. He was fired. So halfway through his 3rd season, this team's not doing good. They're underachieving. They in the midst of a 5-game losing streak right now. Monte McNair, the general manager, had to make a difficult decision, and he fired Mike Brown, and Doug Christie would be the interim head coach. Christie has been assistant with the Kings since 2021, 2022. Obviously, he played 5 of his 15 seasons with the Sacramento Kings, so he's going to be the coach. We're going to see if he'll be a full-time coach. We'll see. But now he's the interim coach right now. Michael Malone had an issue with Brown being fired, he said that the Kings showed no class. So he was not too happy. Malone, he's the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. He says that Kings showed no class, Mike Malone. He said he ripped the team and owner Vivek ran or died, but presenting no class. Then the Kings are all to 13-18 start this season. They're in 12th place in the West. But he felt that was a bad idea. No class. As far as Malone is concerned, he said that he's no stranger. He said right here that he's no stranger to the Kings when he coached for 2 seasons. So I understand where he's coming from. Obviously, he used to coach the Kings, so he was no stranger to the Kings. He coached for 2 seasons. He was fired by the owner. He was fired by the owner back in December 2014. Brown was the 6th coach to hold that job in a decade since Malone's departure. He said that Brown's firing didn't surprise him because of who he works for. He said in a quote, "I'm not surprised that Mike Brown got fired because I got fired by the same person. What really blanked me off about it was that the fact that they lost Thursday night, 5th game in a row. I believe tough loss. They had practice this morning. He does his post-game media. He's in his car going to the airport to fly to LA. They call him on the phone. No class, no blank. That's what I'll say about that." Alone among several NBA coaches who reacted with dismay over Brown's firing, Rick Carlisle had addressed it in his pregame media session. He called the firing shocking to me. I'm sure all the people in our profession. He said, Carlisle, that he's the president of the National Basketball Coaches Association. He said, I had the privilege of working with Mike when I was in Indiana coaching the first time. Him as one of the standard bearers for integrity for our profession. I'm just absolutely shocked that that decision was made. So Orlando Magic coach Mo Mosley, he said coaches understand the job is often thankful that when a team underachieves, that's a risk of being fired. He said it's not his place to discuss the team's decision making, but made clear that what he thinks of Brown as a coaching person. He compiled a record of 107 and 88 while he was there. He changed a bit of that coaching and what he was doing. I say these things not as a fellow coach, but I say this as a coach friend. He's been a mentor of mine. I know how good he is, and I know how he cares. I know how he helped pave the way for so many of us that are in this game right now. Yeah, I think it's shocking also to see him fire me because this team is building. This is a franchise had a lot of success when Chris Williams was there, Peja Stojakovic, Mike Bibby, guys like that was doing their thing at the time. Bobby Jackson and Rick Alvin was the coach. You can't fire him. I mean, you can't do it. You gotta let him go through the process. Sometimes you're gonna have a tough season. Early in the season, play bad, happens. It goes to peaks and valleys. But to have him be gone after he won Coach of the Year in 2022, 2023, his first season at Sacramento, made the playoffs for the first time since 2006. So you gotta stick with the process. So I agree with Malone, and the other coaches that have their feelings in this and feeling bad for Brown because he is getting started with this franchise. They hadn't made it to the playoffs since 2000. They're building something with De'Aaron Fox, the Sabonis. That's their underachieving, but you gotta give it time to build. That happens. That everything has a process to. You cannot, by any stretch of imagination, fire a coach because they're struggling. That happens. Teams go through struggles. Look at the 76. 76 got off to a slow start. Had injuries. Now they back together. They playing pretty good basketball. You don't fire the coach. Sixers wasn't going to do that. Fire Nick Nurse. You know what I'm saying? You got to give it time. And for him to be fired is disgraceful. Tom Thibodeau, the coach of the Knicks, says, we hate to see, he says, as far as what we go through, Mike's a terrific person, a great coach, is unfortunate. And Steve Kerr, coach of the Golden State Warriors, said, still the Kings were struggling out of late, but he still expressed disappointment that Brown, his former assistant and longtime close friend, was let go. He said in a quote, we all kind of know that this nature of the business just seems so shocking. The guy's a unanimous coach of the year and a half ago. When you think about where that franchise was before Mike got there, that's the thing about it, man. Before Mike Brown got there, they were bad. He turned that franchise around through his leadership. Now you let them go because they're struggling. They're in 12th place. It happens. Gotta give him a chance. So Brown's dismissal was the ninth head coaching change in the NBA in 2024 alone. And the 300 in the NBA since Greg Popovich, the league's longest tenured current coach, took the San Antonio Spurs job in 1996. Now Popovich is currently away from the Spurs. He's recovering from stroke. So all the best for Popovich. Hope he comes back on that sideline doing his thing with the Spurs. He's playing pretty good, the Spurs. You know, they gained over 500. But that's a bad move by Sacramento. The prior, the head coach. I mean, you wasn't nothing before he got there. Wasn't doing anything. Okay, you 13, they 13 and 18, okay, they can turn it around. Any team can turn it around. You gotta give them a chance. Right, so that's the story on that. That was the NBA. What else in the NBA? John Morant leaves Grizzlies win with shoulder injury. They beat the Pelicans last night from 32-124. Got some games going on right now. One game going on right now. The Heat and the Hawks just got started with 9:57 on the first quarter. Heat leads 5-2. You got the Knicks and the Wizards. You got the Suns and the Warriors. The Warriors are playing bad. Both these teams are playing bad. The Suns and the Warriors, especially the Warriors. They lost 3 in a row. They lost on Christmas night to the Lakers. They play the Kings tonight. They 17-13. But when you look at the Warriors, they're not playing good basketball. They're 15-15. You got a 3-game losing streak. And Phoenix is 15-15. So you got 2 mediocre teams facing each other tonight. Again, Curry and Durant, man, they on their last legs. Eventually, they're gonna have to be tired. Hang it up. It's that simple. I mean, they've been great for the league, but you gotta turn the page. Golden State's not winning no championship this time soon. It's over. It's over. With the Klay Thompson leaving, it's over for them. Pistons play the Nuggets tonight. That's an interesting game. And the Pistons are playing good. 14-17. Not bad. Compared to what they was last year. They in 9th place. They won 3 games in a row. Playing good. Nuggets not playing that great. They lost 2 in a row. They 16-13. Very mediocre teams in the East and the West, respectively. The Cleveland's 27-4. Boston's 23-8. New York is 21-10. Orlando's 19-14. Milwaukee's 16-13. But then you go after the bottom of the conference. Miami's 15-13. Atlanta's 16-15. Indiana's 15-17. They got blown out last night by Boston, man. 142-108. But the Philadelphia, they coming. They coming on strong. They 11-17. I think they're gonna be hurt from once they stay healthy. Philadelphia. The West Conference got 24-5 OKC. They're the best right now, as the way they're playing right now. And Cleveland's playing well also. Continuously, they 27-4. They won 6 in a row. The Knicks won 6 in a row. When you look at OKC, they got the best winning streak right now. 9 straight, 24-5. Memphis 22-10. Houston 21-10. Dallas is looking good, 20-11. Obviously, Klay Thompson's looking good going to Dallas. Being in Dallas. Clippers are 18-13. Lakers are 17-13. 16-13 Denver, 16-14 Minnesota. San Antonio 16-15. Phoenix 15-15. Golden State 15-15. Let's look at that. The 76ers can win tonight. They should win tonight against the Jazz. Then they play Portland after that. Got to play Portland. They play Portland and Sacramento and Golden State. Because they're on this 6-game road trip. So they won, beating Boston. They play Utah tonight. Monday against Portland. New Year's Day they played against Sacramento. And at Golden State on January 2nd. And then close out the road trip against Brooklyn. So they can get all those games. Those games are winnable. Because all these teams not that great. Not that good. So they could go have an undefeated road trip. So if they can do that, man, they back the potential to compete for the Eastern Conference. Such a long season. All right, so that's it for that. Look at the stands and stuff like that. So that's it. As that is concerned. let's against some NFL. Pick against some NFL. Yeah, J.D. Bickerstaff is the difference maker, and also got some veteran guys, Tobias Harrison, Tim Hardaway Jr. This team is definitely getting it done. We talk about, him being an addition to the Pistons team compared to last year and the way they was playing. This is a different team because it got to be because of the coaching, obviously, the players that they got. Because prior to him coming, Pistons were one of the worst teams, the worst team in basketball last year. They were terrible. And to see where they're at now, at least they're much better. They got more wins they had last year. Way more wins. Look at what they did last year. Last year they were terrible. They were 14-68. Worst record in the NBA for second consecutive season, and worst in franchise history, 14-68. Right now, they're 14-17, so they're matching the amount of wins they had last year. So they get a chance to go past that. We look at this Detroit Pistons team, 14-68 last year. They 14-17 this year. They made a big time improvement from last year, Detroit. All right, so that's it. Let's get into some NFL. Right now, you got an NFL game going on right now. The game definitely in the bag for the Chargers. They will be in the playoffs this win. They're going to clinch the playoff spot. They're winning big, 30-7. No surprise there. Big, 2:10 to go in the third quarter. That game's over. Chargers are going to win that game. They're going to get in the playoffs. So great job by first-year head coach. Again, he knows what to do when it comes to turning around franchise. Did what he was with San Francisco 49ers. Talking about Jim Harbaugh. Going to be in the playoffs for the first time with this Chargers team as a head coach of the Chargers. So it shows you what coaching can do. All right, so let's get into the NFL, man. Last week, I'm not going to go over everything, but I'm going to say this, man. Kansas City Chiefs, they play like they played against Pittsburgh. Look out, NFL. They can make the 3 straight Super Bowl championships in a row. They clinched the number 1 seed last week, beating this past Christmas 29-10 over the slumping and floundering Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know what's going on with Pittsburgh Steelers. They're just not, stepping up in class. Last 3 games obviously been tough. Pittsburgh, playing Philadelphia, losing 27-13. Then you lose 20-34-17 last week against Baltimore, and then you lose this past Christmas 29-10. They're not playing well on offense or defense. But you look at this Pittsburgh Steelers team, they may be one and done in the postseason. They just don't look like themselves. These are the games where you had to step up and show what you're made of. You had to win at least 2 of these 3 games to show how good you are. They're in the playoffs. They're in. But it don't make no difference if you're playing bad against true contenders that can win the Super Bowl, that can win the championship. Like Baltimore, like Philly, and Kansas City. They got totally outclassed the last 3 weeks of Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers are in the postseason. They're in. But what they're going to do in the playoffs, that's the thing that stands out. So I think from that perspective, that was just a bad loss for Pittsburgh. Mahomes had 320 yards. Mahomes plays well against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's 4-0 lifetime with 17 touchdowns and only 1 interception. So this guy knows how to play well against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He does not flinch when he go against them. He plays excellent football against that team, against that defense led by T.J. Watt. He played great against them. So Travis Kelce coming to his own, man. 8 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. Hasn't had a great year, but look at his stats: 97 catches, over 800 yards. So, time to be a pretty good year for Travis Kelce. And if you're Andy Reid, you don't even play your plays next week. You rested. You got the number 1 seed. You got it. You clinched the number 1 seed. On field advantage throughout the playoffs. So I don't think the Chiefs stars are going to be playing next week. They should just rest and get ready for this divisional playoff round, whoever it may concern, in January. So that was a big time win for them on Christmas Day, and winning the game and dominating the game. Yeah, Mahomes is 4-0 against the Steelers, 17 touchdowns and 1 interception. And also congrats to Travis Kelce. He had 77 touchdown catches. He broke the franchise record that was set by Tony Gonzalez, a famous tight end. Congrats to him. Again, this team got it all clicking right now. And that's what it comes down to. They're looking really, really good. 5 sacks on Russell Wilson. They good defense. They did great job defensively, having 5 sacks. Baltimore beat Houston 31-2. Houston just struggling right now. They don't have Stephon Diggs, obviously. Tank Dell got hurt. They don't have no receivers except for Nico Collins. So they don't have their weapons. But still, you can't lose 31-2. Look like this gonna be, winning out for them, for Houston. It's terrible. Terrible football. And Baltimore is 11-5. So they got a chance to win the division. Baltimore. I had to Steelers are slumping. They in first place, so they got a chance to win the division. Best teams in their hands. Okay, then you had the day after Christmas, terrible game. Seattle beat Chicago 6-3. That was terrible. So these are the games that start off in week 17. So let's fast forward to week 16. One game I'm going to talk about is Philadelphia having a 10-game winning streak snapped as he lost to Washington 36-33. Jaden Daniels played excellent, man. 5 touchdown passes. And the thing about obviously Jalen Hurts, he's out tomorrow. I don't think he's playing tomorrow. He had a concussion that he suffered last week against Washington. Jaden Daniels had 5 touchdown passes, and Washington was losing by a couple of touchdowns. They was losing 21-7. Then all of a sudden, here come Washington, man, against that defense of Philadelphia. Did his thing, and he was able to throw a game-winning touchdown 6 seconds to go to Jameson Crowder, 9 yards, and a 22-point conversion by Jeremy McNichols to make it 36-33 and win the game, going 10-5. So Jaden Daniels definitely solidified and submitted himself as the of the year. Definitely. He has 22 touchdown passes. Got an alert right here that there was a fight last night between Dallas and Phoenix. So the NBA has suspended Dallas's Najee Marshall for 4 games. Phoenix Yusef Nurkic for 3 games after a fight last night, where Nurkic struck Marshall in the head and Marshall threw a punch. It also says that PJ Washington of the Mavericks is suspended for escalating the on-court altercation. That's an alert that I got on my phone. All right, so let's keep on going with the National Football League coverage I've been doing. Like I said, big win for Washington. They're gonna be in the playoffs, obviously. They still got a lot of work to do to make that official. But Jaden Daniels definitely rookie of the year. 22 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions. So he's doing his thing in that perspective. So it's all good with that. Right, the other game I want to talk about was Minnesota continued their winning ways. They beat Seattle on the road 27-24. Big time throw and touchdown to Justin Jefferson with 351 to go rather, to make it 27-24 as they was trailing 24-20. Sam Darnold continues to play excellent stellar football. 39-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson. 3 touchdown passes on the season. So Justin Jefferson had 144 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, 10 catches. Sam Darnold had 246 yards and 3 touchdowns. Did his thing, and as they won 27-24, so now they 13-2. So they continue for that number 1 seed of Minnesota. And Sam Darnold's numbers look great. 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, man. His best season by far. Definitely. Got a lot of weapons, man. Watch out for Minnesota. Right, so that's all I want to talk about for Week 16 games that stood out to me. So I'm going to keep moving. Move on to what you need to know for us this week's games. So we're in Week 17 right now. Again, the Chargers going to clinch their playoff spot. They're winning right now, 30-7 in the fourth quarter. They got the ball at the New England 8-yard line. They're going to put up another touchdown. So 3rd and 4 right now. New England 6-yard line, 13-29 to go. So we got Bengals and Broncos. That's a big game right there at 4:30. That's going to be a good game. If the Bengals keep doing what they're doing, they're going to need a lot of help to get into the playoffs. But that should be a great matchup. The Broncos trying to win and get in. In the postseason drought. They haven't been in playoffs in a long time. So that's going to be an interesting game. Last time it was in the postseason back in 2015, 9 years ago. So they win their end. So that's something that's worth watching. Denver versus Cincinnati. You got the Rams and the Cardinals tonight. All right, so let's get into it, man. What you need to know about these matchups. Not that many great games this week. far as that's concerned, but we're gonna get into it anyway. So let's get into it. Right, the Bengals and the Broncos. That's coming up at 4:30 p.m. on NFL Network. That's gonna be a big time game. What to keep your eyes on is the matchup of the game is definitely wide receiver Jamar Chase, in case he's been the best wide receiver all year, because he has a chance to win the Triple Crown as a wide receiver for leading the league in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. Man, he has a chance to do that. And going against Patrick Surtain the second. So Chase is vying to become the fifth player since the NFL-AFL merger in 1970 to win the receiving Triple Crown, leading the league in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. But he's going to be challenged against Patrick Surtain, maybe the best cornerback in football. These all cornerbacks and expected points added and targeted as the nearest defender, negative 25.8. So be the best of the best. Keep your eyes on Patrick Surtain the second against Jamar Chase. Now, it's sad to know that the Bengals are only 7 against teams with winning records this season. It's tied with the Jaguars and the Patriots for most losses without a win. But the strange thing about it is that the Bengals have averaged 30.3 points per game in those losses. Now, what's at stake is the Broncos win, they're in. They'll be in the playoffs. For the Bengals, their slim postseason hopes gotta be kept alive with a victory. Or else, if they lose, they'll be eliminated. But they're gonna need a lot of help from other teams, I think, for them to get in. Right, you got the Cardinals and the Rams. The Cardinals were eliminated from playoff contention Sunday. Unfortunately, they're not in the playoffs, so they're not going to make it. So that's bad for the Cardinals. They had a lot of opportunities to get into the playoffs, so they're not going to be in. So they're out of the playoffs. They're eliminated. Yep, they're eliminated from the playoffs. San Francisco is eliminated as well as the Cardinals. So the Rams got a chance to win this division. They got their top division right now. They're 9-6 as of right now. They're 9-6. That game will be at 8 o'clock. So what to keep your eyes on in this game is the Rams are 9-6, so they looking to be in position to win that division. So keep your eyes on that. They'll make the playoffs the first time, back-to-back, first team to make the playoffs in back-to-back seasons after being 3 games under 500. They need to win tonight to clinch strength with victory over Seattle to secure a postseason berth. They should be in a position to also win the division possibly. It's sad to know that Trey McBride has 92 receptions for the Cardinals. The tight end. He has 0 receptions for touchdowns. Now, if this continues, will be the most receptions without a touchdown this season. Y'all go back 2 years ago when Deontay Johnson did it, 86 catches. Right next, we got the Eagles and the Cowboys. That's tomorrow. Again, look like Jalen Hurts is not going to be playing. He's in concussion protocol, so Pickett will be playing for him against the Cowboys. Obviously, Cowboys not playing for anything. They're eliminated from the postseason contention. They're out of it. They're not going to be in the playoffs. So what they can do is just be a spoiler. Try to spoil the chances for the Eagles to try to get a number 2 seed or something like that. As far as this game is concerned, Cooper Rush will be making his 14th start in his career. Start against the Eagles. Sad knows that Michael Parsons of the Cowboys at linebacker is half a sack away from being the 4th player to reach double-digit sacks in each of his first 4 seasons. His individual sacks were first tracked in 1982. Other 3 Hall of Famers, Dwight Freeney, Derek Thomas, and Reggie White. Now, the Eagles can clinch the NFC East division with a win or a loss from the Commanders to the Falcons on Sunday night. This will mark the 20th straight season that this division, NFC East, has not had a repeat champion, which is the longest streak in NFL history. Jets and the Bills. Bills are definitely successful in this division since 2020. They are 23-5. That's the second best record in that span, along with Kansas City's 24-5 record. And the Jets are 5-23 in division games since 2020. So the Bills are no longer in contention for the number 1 seed because that's already been locked up by the Chiefs. But Buffett can win number 2 seed with a win tomorrow. They'll be the number 2 seed. That's for important. You have to know that time off. They should have a first round bye. Anyway, that's storyline that. Raising the Saints. Not a great game. Both teams not playing for nothing. Both teams are out of the playoff race. Sad news that Spencer Rattler has 3 straight starts with fewer than 175 yards passing. Another such a game would make him first Saint quarterback to reach that mark in 4 straight games since Steve Walsh did it in 1990. Giants and the Colts is a terrible game. But a big game for the Colts. What's at stake is that the Colts could be eliminated from playoff contention though before they play against the Giants. So that game may not mean anything because the Chargers and the Broncos both win their Saturday contest. Now, Chargers about to win their game. But if they have Broncos win today, then that's out. They're out, the Colts. They'll be eliminated. So sad to know is that the Colts they set a franchise record last week, 335 yards rushing against the Titans last week. That's the most by any team in a single game this season. The Giants are terrible, so look for Jonathan Taylor to run the football against a bad rushing defense. So the Giants are the second worst rushing defense. They allow 142.6 yards per game. So look for a daily dose of Jonathan Taylor to run against that bad Giant defense against the run. Buccaneers and the Panthers. Buccaneers, obviously, they lost to the Cowboys. They no longer control their destiny. So Falcons got a chance to win that division. Sad knows that the Baker Mayfield leads the NFC with 34 passing touchdowns. He's looking to join Tom Brady as the only quarterbacks in franchise with 35 plus passing touchdowns in a single season. So Tampa Bay will be eliminated from playoff contention with the loss. The Falcons win against the Commanders. If that doesn't happen, there are scenarios in which Tampa Bay can clinch a playoff postseason spot to Week 18. It depends on the results from Atlanta and Washington. Jaguars and Titans, terrible game. Both teams are 3-12. Terrible football. One thing we said about this game that the Jaguars have a takeaway in 5 straight games. That's tied for the longest streak in franchise history. But their 8 total takeaways this season is the fewest in NFL history. No other team is below 10. Dolphins and the Browns. What's at stake in this matchup is that the Dolphins now have a 7.6% chance to make the playoffs. They will be eliminated from postseason potential with a loss or wins by the Chargers and the Broncos. Sad to know that Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver of the Browns, had just 3 targets last week against the Bengals. That's a season low, top of the season low. He has 72 catches, 1,072 receiving yards on the season, already career highs. Now this is the best game tomorrow. Without question, this is the best game. Vikings and Packers. Packers 11-4. Vikings are 13-2. This is the best game by far. Now keep your eyes on Jordan Love against the blitzing of the defense of the Vikings, because 7 games into the season, Jordan Love struggled against the blitz, including against the Vikings when they played week 4. He posted the 3rd worst QBR when blitzed during that span, but since then, in 6 games since, Jordan Love, the quarterback of the Packers, has a QBR of 97 against the blitz. That leads the NFL in that category. Now, we facing the Vikings defense that's always big on blitzing, a premium on defense, highest blitz rate in NFL at 38%. For the Vikings, Sam Darnold is looking to become the first quarterback in NFL history to win 14 games in his first season with the new team. And if that happens, the Vikings sweep the Packers for only the 4th time in the past 25 seasons. They'll keep themselves on track to reach Week 18 game at Detroit and determine the #1 seed in the NFC. Sad knows that the Packers are 1-3 in NFC North games this season, a loss which clinched their 4th season under 500 in divisional matchups since 2002 and their first since 2018. As I state, both teams are in the playoffs, but the Vikings can improve their chances at the NFC North title Sunday. The odds increase to 36% to win and fall to 14% for the losses. Minnesota can win the North either by winning out or by the Lions losing. You got the nightcap tomorrow night. Pretty good game. Falcons versus the Commanders. 8-7. Falcons versus the Commanders 10-5. Obviously got 2 rookie quarterbacks playing against each other. Obviously Jaden Daniels for Washington, and obviously Michael Penix Jr., the rookie for the Falcons. So keep your eyes on that. Also keep your eyes on the running game of the Falcons because Dejan Robinson is having a big year. He has the third most yards in the league running outside the tackles, 185 yards with 9 touchdowns, while Washington has allowed the second most yards per carry, 5.7 on such runs. For the Washington Commanders, if they want to win, secure a spot, the Pels will have to get to its running game and get the running backs going. They have averaged 2.64 yards per carry the past 2 weeks. They'll face Atlanta defense that ranks 9th in yards per carry allowed, 4.3. Sad to know that Michael Penix Jr. is seeking to become the first quarterback in Falcons history from his first 2 career starts. He won against the Giants last week without passing a rushing touchdown. The quarterback hasn't done that in his first 2 career starts in like 25 years. I believe that's 1999, since the Dolphins Damon Hewitt did. What's at stake? The Falcons can clinch the NFC South title in their first playoff versus 2017 to win and Tampa Bay lost to Carolina. Meanwhile, Commanders can secure their first playoff appearance since 2020 to win while Bucks lost. And finally, on Monday night, rematch of the NFC Championship game from last year. Obviously, it doesn't have the same luster that it had last year or was going into his schedule for the season. 49ers underachieved at 6-9. They're not playing the playoffs this year. The Lions, they have to win this game at 13-2 to stay afloat at number 1 seed. So this is a rematch. So keep your eyes on that. The Lions have continued to ascend while the Niners have taken a step back. Since 2000, this will be the 9th time the teams that have met in the conference championship will play again in the following season. One team won 7 of the 8 previous times, but with Detroit still fighting for the top seed, carrying a perfect road record, the 49ers will need a big turnaround to pull off this upset. You guys know generate turnovers, obviously, have a takeaway. There's only have just one takeaway past 5 games. Now, sad to know is that the Lions are 7-0 on the road. That's the longest road winning streak in franchise history. But the Lions have lost 14 consecutive games on the road to the 49ers, including other playoffs. So see, they snapped a 14-game losing streak at the San Francisco at the 49ers. You know, if they haven't won there in their building or in general against 49ers in their place, but it'd be Candlestick Park, the old Candlestick Park or Santa Clara, where they play out right now in a long time. So see if they can snap that losing streak. That's something that's worth watching on Monday night. If you want to watch the game, you want to check the game out, you know, keep your eyes on that. What's at stake is that the Lions can clinch the number 1 seed and a home field advantage for the playoffs for the win. And the Vikings lost to the Packers on Sunday. That's what we keep your eyes on, man. That's what's at stake. All right, so that's it, man. My time is up with that with the NFL situation. I'll give you my picks of the week for the close out this final picks of the week for the year 2024, week 17. Over last week's game, I was 4-1 last week. I picked the Chiefs over the Texans. I was right about that. I was wrong with the Steelers over the Ravens. I was right with the Rams over the Jets. I was right with the Vikings over the Seahawks, 3-1. The Bills over the Patriots, I was right, 3-1. So currently I'm 59-21 on the season. So right now, again, I had a great season of getting these picks right. So to mark today, I did pick the 3 games for today. I got the Chargers over the Patriots. I'm gonna keep 1-0 with that because the Chargers are winning right now. They don't beat the playoffs. So the Chargers over the Patriots, I'm gonna be correct with that. So they were blowing out the Patriots last time I was checking scores. I got the Bengals over the Broncos. I got the Rams over the Cardinals. And so 2 games tomorrow, I got the Bills over the Jets. I got the Vikings over the Packers. So those are my picks of the week for week 17 on the NFL picks of the week. I'm Rashad with the show live on JavaScript Radio. So that's my picks of the week. So go back, look at review the score of Patriots Chargers game right now. It's a domination right now. Chargers are winning 37-7. 3 touchdown pass for Justin Herbert. They definitely win the playoffs. McConkey got 94 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins 76 yards, 1 touchdown. So congrats to the Chargers. They're gonna be in the postseason. That's all they had to do is win, and they're in. They're gonna be in. They're gonna clinch the 12th spot. They're in. They win big, 37-7, 6:54 to go in the 4th quarter. That's a done deal right there. So that's it. My time is up, man. It's the final episode of 2024. Hope you enjoyed this year. From January to December of 2024, it's been a great time doing the Rashad Show on Josco Radio. Next year's going to be greater. Next year's going to be a great year, 2025, man. In September 2025 will be the 10th season of the Rashad Show on Josco Radio, and also be 9 years that I've been doing the Rashad Show on Josco Radio. 9 years. I started the show back on September 4th, 2016. And I've been doing the show ever since. So it's one of the longest running shows on the station. I've been doing this, so I'm truly grateful that I've been doing this show for a long period of time. The best yet to come. This concludes also the first half of the 2020s. You know what I'm saying? The first 5 years is about to come to an end. The second half of the decade is going to start on January 1st, 2025, the next 5 years. So grateful to be here. Hope I'll be here a little longer. The next 5 years, the rest of this decade. I'm saying it'll be a great accomplishment doing, great work on this station, Job Stroke Radio. Give me great content. Best way I know how, and that's it, man. I'm just grateful to still be here. Longevity, having staying power on this station has just been truly a blessing. I'm truly grateful to be on this station that this long. Overall, it'll be 10 years that I've been on this station. I remember March the 2nd, 2015, I was on the FOE on Deck show with Kevin Singleton. Shout out to him. And I was on there with him and AP Conqueror. And, I started as a guest. Talk about one of my books. I think it's the top 50 greatest albums in hip hop history. Something like that. Top 50 underrated classic albums. And hip hop history, just albums and stuff like that. That's where I got started on Job Scope Radio as a guest. Then I was on that show, FOE on Deck, several times, a few times, and then on Morning Wood with Ron Williams and two people that was on there, I won't mention names, but they was doing their thing, and that's like solidified myself being on the station. And I started writing for the magazine, or interviewing the radio host that was on the station at the time. I didn't even have a show yet. So a year later. So let's see things being a guest on the Morning Wood, me on the Talking Life show. Passing, I talked to Ron, told him that I was doing podcasting on Spreaker.com at the time. I told him about what I was doing and the number of people that were supporting me. He said I should do something with it. Then one thing led to another, and I have my own show. On September 4th, 2016, the Rashad Show. So it turns 9 years old, September 4th of 2025. But overall, it'll be the 10th season in September of 2024. 10th season of the Rashad Show. That's a long time. I've come a long way from the Art Factory in Patterson to Inglewood, Ron's house, in the basement for 4 or 5 years there, being in Worcester Park, New Jersey, in the studio, and doing shows from home and all that sort of stuff. So it's been a great journey in my radio career doing this. I was happy, thank all the listeners all year long throughout the years, and this year and next year and so on and so forth, man. I just want to talk about that because it's very important to look back and reflect on how long I've been on the station. You know what I'm saying? I've been a mainstay. One of the mainstays on the station. I'm truly grateful to still keep doing season after season, consistent, prolific, putting in good work, putting in good content, back you with, what's going on in world sports. Walk for the love. Do it my own, the way I want to do it, not trying to copy off anybody else. Stay in my lane of my own style, doing things as a radio host. Just be yourself. Be true to who you are. Don't have to be cussing. Don't have to be doing anything that's shock value. Be crazy. Just be Rashad, the best Rashad can be. That's it. That's all I tried to do when I started doing this show back in 2016. Be myself. Have my own style, look, wherever it is. Be myself, and I think I've accomplished that. So I want to talk about that before I get off the air. This is the final episode of 2024, the end of the first half of the decade. And I also look at the pandemic and COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that went on in the first half of the decade. COVID-19 and people passing away due to that disease, pandemic. coronavirus. I thank God that I was able to survive that, get through that, and still be able to do shows and travel and do my thing. So it's been a very interesting adventure for the first half of the decade of the 2020s. 2020, 2024, that period's about to end in a few days. Once January 1st comes, that's it. It's a wrap. It's a new beginning. New beginning of the second half of the decade. 2025, 2029. Next 5 years. So I'm looking forward to giving you great radio the second half of the decade of the 2020s. New beginning, new chapter. That's yet to come. So I wanted to say that before I close out. Thank all the listeners, thank all who supported. You know who you are. And thank you so much. I'm just waiting for the engineer on the other end, Ron Williams, to close it out and hold it down. That's it, man. That's it for the show, man. It's been a great time, man. I enjoyed this year. It's been a great year. Best yet to come in 2025. Best yet to come. So that concludes episode number 389. 389th episode of the Rashad Mitchell Show. Live on Job Scope Radio. 389. Got several more episodes away from 400. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be accomplished in 2025. It's the 389th episode. I got like 11 more episodes to go. It'll be 400 episodes. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's been a great time. And thank all listeners. So that's it for the show. I thank Ron Williams holding down the fort. The great studios of Rashad Park, New Jersey. In the control room, I'm your host, Rashad Mitchell, coming to you live from the location from London. And that concludes episode number 389 of the Rashad Mitchell Show, Lounge Out School Radio. Until then, talk to you next time, next Saturday afternoon in January in 2025. Until then, Happy New Year, everybody. To all the listeners, be back next year in 2025. Till then, talk to you next year.